Hello, my name is Mr. Burno. Today we're going to learn some amazing facts about our body. And to help me with my lesson is my friend here. I call him Organ Man. Don't be afraid. He's just a plastic model that she used to teach us about our body. We're going to start from the top and work our way down. At the very top is our brain. This is what your brain looks like. These red things are the arteries that bring nice oxygenated blood to your brain, which it needs. And this is what your brain looks like inside. This is the brain stem. Inside the brain resides your intelligence, your personality, your physical skills. They all reside here. Another surprising fact about the brain is that different parts of the brain controls different things. For instance, the left side of the brain controls the right side of your body, and the right side of your brain controls the left side of the body. How about that? Let's take a look at the eye. This is the eye. And these red things are muscles. Your eye has muscles. Without these muscles, you wouldn't be able to turn your eye to look where you want to see. So it requires muscles. Let's move down to the chest cavity. This is your chest, or torso. And as you can see, your chest is surrounded by ribs. These bones are called ribs. Ribs are very important because they protect some vital organs that are underneath the ribs. And we'll get to that later. But you can feel your ribs right here on either side of your chest if you rub like that. At the top of your ribs are two bones. These are called collarbones. The scientific name is clavicles. So these are your clavicles or collarbones. And in the center is your breastplate or sternum. The scientific name is sternum. So the breastplate or sternum, the ribs, collarbones, or clavicles. Now let's see what resides underneath these ribs. What can we find under here? First thing I want to point out are your lungs. These are your lungs on either side. We all have two usually, although we can live with one. Sometimes people have problems with one lung and it has to be taken out. And you get to live with one, but you can live with just one. But ideally you should have two. The lungs expand when you inhale oxygen and air, and they contract or go down when you exhale carbon dioxide. So you inhale oxygen and air, they swell up. You exhale carbon dioxide, they go down and contract. You may have heard about our lungs recently due to this coronavirus thing. The coronavirus attacks the lungs in that it causes fluid on the lungs. And fluid on the lungs is not good because it makes it very difficult to breathe. Fluid on the lungs is not a good thing. And that coronavirus causes it. This, as I'm sure you know, is your heart. This is what your heart looks like. Your heart beats and pumps blood all around your body. A very vital organ, your heart. This is what it looks like inside, without the blood, of course. These white things are your heart valves. Your heart valves open and close as your heart is beating to make sure the blood is flowing in the right direction. Your heart. And let's go into the digestive system. As you eat food, this is your tongue. It goes down the throat and it ends up here. This is your stomach. just like your lungs, your stomach expands and is filled up with food, and it contracts or goes down as the food is digested and you get hungry. Now, one thing you need to know, we can't digest solid food. The food has to be dissolved, broken down, before we can absorb it. And we need something called acid to digest our food. Yes, surprising enough, we do have acid in our bodies. It's a special kind of acid called bile that we need to dissolve our food here in the stomach. And this organ, which is called the liver, is which produces the acid, the bile, that we need to dissolve our food. So the liver produces the bile that our stomach and the rest of our digestive system needs to dissolve and absorb our food. This is the stomach. That's what the stomach looks like. This is what an empty stomach looks like inside. After the food leaves the stomach, it goes into our small intestines. Our small intestines is where all the good stuff is absorbed that our body needs. It happens right here in the small intestines. Small intestines, if you stretch it out, is about 10 to 15 feet long. It's all bundled up here, but it's usually 10 to 15 feet long in an average person. All the good stuff is absorbed here. But we don't absorb everything we eat. There's waste products left over, stuff that we don't need. And that's called waste. The solid waste, after it's left, after everything's absorbed here, goes into the large intestines. And this is the large intestines we see going around the small intestines. It goes around. Let's take a look at the small intestines and the large intestines. This is the small intestines where all the good stuff is absorbed. This is the backside. 10 to 15 feet long if you stretch it out. This is the large intestines. Another word for part of this is the colon. You may have heard the word colon. That's part of the large intestines. So after the food leaves the small intestines, it enters the large intestines here. It goes around, down, and all this solid waste goes out as feces or poop, as we know it sometimes. But the scientific name is feces. So that goes out and down the toilet. The waste, the solid waste that's left over after we absorb all the good stuff in the small intestines. Let's examine what's behind here. Again, this is the large intestines. This is what it looks like behind. And behind here we have the kidneys. These are your kidneys. Most of us have two of them. Most of us are born with two of them. But surprisingly enough, you only really need one. You may have heard people donating their kidneys. Some people donate their kidneys, and you can live just fine with one left over. This is what your kidney looks like inside. Two kidneys, you can live with one. Now, the large intestines gets rid of the solid waste that you don't need. The kidneys filter out the liquid waste that you don't need. They filter out the liquid waste and send it down here to the bladder as urine, or which we also know as pee. So it filters out the liquid waste we don't need, sends it down to the bladder which is pee, before it goes out to the toilet. And finally, and behind is your spinal column. This is your spinal cord. It has lots of nerves that start at the brain and go down and branch out to all parts of your body to control your body. And these are bones called vertebrae. Vertebrae. They stabilize your back and protect your spinal cord. So the central brain here branches out with all these wires or nerves to control the rest of your body. And that, my friends, is our body. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.